Hey, my friends, what's going on? Little energy update for the rest of November. We're really feeling through this healing energy that this last new moon gave us, which was just a couple days ago. It was this double Scorpio, and I wanted to post a video on the day or the day before, but I'm getting back into the swing of making my more regular content, and I'm letting it come up intuitively without forcing it. So this is still my energy reading for the rest of the month of November. What's going on in the collective and the energy that I'm really feeling through, and as always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. So hi, I'm Hawken. I help guide people through their healing journeys. Now, this last new moon on Monday, or on the 13th or 14th, depending on whether you're in the Eastern or Western Hemisphere, and it lasts for a few days. So, double Scorpio, really big healing energy. Right after the lunar eclipse that we had a couple weeks ago. Man, what a trip. It was the closing of a 2-year eclipse cycle. So that really forced us to address anything that was coming up, any old patterns, and just look at all of the growth that we've had over the last couple of years. Let it go. Embrace it. Do whatever you want with it. Now, it's like this calling to deal with whatever is blocking you from moving forward. So here are a few things that I really want you to know going through the next couple of weeks, especially with that theme of healing through whatever blocks are stopping you from moving forward. Number one, dark night of the soul may be something that is very prevalent right now. This feeling of going through a period of deep, dark, mucky burnout, or working through a depressive episode. Maybe this episode that was starting to come to light a couple weeks ago, but you're still struggling through it. There's something that's making it tough to work through. Now with the energy that we're feeling coming up, we're being given this opportunity to work through that. Take a look at what is blocking your growth. At the same time, few easy, simple things to do to work through burnout or depressive episodes. Understanding that those terms are synonymous with this dark night of the soul, this dark period that our souls go through. They're calling us to really go internal, go deep, dig down deep, mine the gold, so to speak. Few simple things then. Stay away from addictive behaviors. Try to really limit your consumption of alcohol or even binge eating or substances like different kinds of drugs. Even overuse of cannabis can be an addictive behavior that spirals us in an energy downward spiral instead of spiraling up. And of course, journaling through your emotions, journaling tough emotions, journaling what things you feel vulnerable about, getting outside, just movement of any kind, any sort. It doesn't have to be 3 to 5 workouts in a week. It can be a 10-minute stretch every day. It can be a walk, going for a walk with your dog, or calling up a friend and just saying, hey, you want to go for a walk? Something. As long as you're keeping the body movement and your energy isn't getting stagnant, then it's helping. Number 2, breathing through sacred rage. It's a big one because we talk about feeling through our feelings, and I feel like anger gets a bad rap. Sadness tells us what things that we need to grieve. It tells us what things that we need to really pause on. Happiness and joy, obviously, tell us which things, it's like, yeah, I want more of that. But anger is usually one of those things that we hear a lot. We have to set your anger down. You have to let go of your anger. But what if we use it as a tool instead? I implore you to see it differently. That's why I call it sacred rage. Because when you are so angry about something that you could just get angry about it, then that is your body and your navigational system and your nervous system telling you what you won't put up with. It's telling you how to set boundaries by giving you that anger, that rage. That emotion is meant to help you set boundaries and say, I don't want more of this. See how it's synonymous with, or it's the opposite end of the spectrum from joy, but it's not something that it is bad or something that we should let go of, not have anymore. Don't do that. Joy and happiness tell us, yes, I want more of this, but anger lets us set boundaries around, I don't want this. You get upset with somebody for bailing on you too many times. What do? You set the boundary and you tell them, hey, I really love spending time with you. However, if you can't be punctual, then I'm just not going to call as much. I'm going to hang out with other people. I'm not going to want to spend time with you. It doesn't have to be a hard rule. It's not like you're not telling them what to do. That's the difference between rules and boundaries too. You can say it calmly. You can feel the anger, take a breath, let it direct your action. Take a breath, ground back into your body, and then let it guide your next steps. And then instead of getting mad, flipping out, coming across emotionally unintelligent, you can just set that boundary. And rather than sounding controlling and saying, you need to be on time when we spend time together, they don't have to be. They can do what they want. But you can say, if you're not going to be on time, or if you're going to keep bailing on me and not showing up, or just not answering your phone when we make plans, then I'm just going to call other people. You say it, and in fact, when you say it really calmly, and you deliver things like that very calmly, just matter-of-factly, this is how it is, it's a much more neutral tone, it's neutral energy, it's in alignment. When you direct your anger at somebody else and in a controlling kind of way, then it doesn't come across as well. People don't listen when you yell at them, but they do listen when you stand up for yourself. Or if they don't, that's on them. You've set your terms. Number 3, in fact, fits with that quite well. Communicate with your needs. Communicate your needs. people won't know what you want unless you tell them. You know, I found myself in a conversation with my wife a few days ago because she's just she's just really bouncing back from pregnancy, and our baby girl is about 7 weeks old now. And I remember thinking, it's been a while since we've done any kind of mindfulness or spiritual practice together in a while. Any kind of like meditating together, breathing together, tantric energy play, anything like that. And I just said, honey, I'm feeling very much like my love tank in this particular area is super low, and it's an area that hasn't been filled up in months, and I'm just wondering if we could start working towards that. And it actually brought up a bit of a heated discussion about what she's ready for. And not to get too deep into that, but the point is, that's why it's so important to be aware of our love languages. Because if you can articulate to your partner or even friends, hey, I'm not getting enough of this. Can we do something about that? Now, of course, with her, it brought up more of a discussion about what she's ready for post-pregnancy. But the point was, I didn't just sit on it. The point was bringing it up at all so that we could have a healthy discussion about it. You know, it's the same reason why we have a regular check-in every week. We'll sit down with each other and go, hey, how am I showing up for you? Or it's an opportunity for one to say to the other, hey, you're not doing this thing that you agreed to do for me on a regular basis. Whatever it may be. It's an opportunity to check in with each other on a regular basis and communicate your needs. Now, as far as runic energy that I'm reading right now, because as you know, I place the runic wheel of the year over the astrological wheel of the year. And so 2 runes of the Elder Futhark go with each zodiac sign in the wheel. And so right now we are in Sawilo, which goes with the second half of Scorpio. And on the 21st, next week, we'll shift into Tiwaz with the beginning of Sagittarius. I find it so funny that the symbol for Sagittarius is an arrow, and the Tiwaz T also looks like an arrow. It's funny how many little synchronicities there are across tarot and astrology and runes. Anyway, when it comes to Sawilo, this is about willpower. It's the yellow sun in the runes. And Tiwaz is about justice, war, sacrifices. It's a wonder that it's not the sign for, it's a wonder that it's not corresponding so much with Aries, because Tiwaz is connected to Tyr, the god of war in Norse mythology. But I digress. There are layers of other meanings that come with Tiwaz. It's justice, it's victory, strength, determination, but also sacrifice. What comes to mind is the story of Fenrir's binding and Tyr sacrificing his own hand to bind the wolf Fenrir in the Norse mythology. At the same time, It's about speaking up and holding your boundaries. So, the message that I get from this is very loud and clear. Let this be a time where you go inward, honoring what's next after a dark night of the soul requires shining a light on our shadow, finding our golden shadow within, mining the gold from that darkness. Following this invitation, do what's right for you and your peace, and know that staying quiet to keep the peace and in fact compromising your own boundaries is not keeping your peace. So just remember that. And finally, I have just a little journal prompt, a little piece of inner work that you could do with all of this information. Ask yourself, what am I triggered by lately? Take a deep breath. What are these emotions, even my sacred rage, trying to show me? How can I embrace this energy to hold my own boundaries over the things that I'm triggered by, instead of just letting it go? Now, remember, work through that dark night of the soul, coming out of burnout. Just to recap, breathe through sacred rage, and communicate your needs. Enjoy the rest of the month. Coming soon, later this week, I'll be dropping a piece on really working through burnout with a little bit more depth, talking about that dark night of the soul. So I'll be talking a lot about burnout and dark night of the soul later as this week goes on. Bye for now.